First, I want to start with a slide on talking about the ONF, because, I guess another question, like how many of you, the ONF is a completely different organization than it was a year ago, and how many of you are familiar with that? We know the ONF, a year ago at this conference, it was a completely different standards body, and now it's something new. How many of you feel like you really know what the new ONF does? You know? Again, even a lighter show of hands. And so I don't have a lot of slides to go into it. You're welcome to come by the booth, but the ONF has really retooled into an open source centric organization over the last year. We merged with ON Lab, and the ONF is an operator-led consortium. So what does that mean? It means that in some ways we're the voice of the operator. We are, I was telling somebody, almost like a modern day Bell Labs, you can almost think of it. Like we are a melting pot from different operators working with us. They fund us, they contribute people, they're in our labs, and we work on common solutions across the industry. And what you see here, these are 8 of our operator partners. They're all on our board of directors. Key people from these organizations work with us intimately. We spend a lot of time with them. The CTO of AT&T is a chairman of our board. So the level at which we interact with these organizations is quite substantial. And with this level of interaction, they've invested in us and use us as a vehicle, as a catalyst to transform the networking industry. And we're transforming it both with next generation platforms, and you're going to hear about some of those today, and then all the ecosystems that can actually help deliver these platforms to market. So, the ONF also has a sort of a sequence of things we've been working on over time, and one builds on the other. It's a cumulative effect. So you'll notice that it really started with SDN. The ONF is the body that really championed SDN, this concept. It's in the title of this conference this week. 6 years ago, it was a fringe concept. People didn't believe it was going to happen. At this point in time, everybody now believes in SDN. That's something that came from the ONF, and that's still part of our mission, is driving that forward. That came from the operators, drive transformation, enable innovation in the network. The next was OpenFlow, which is a control protocol to break apart the controller from the data plane. Again, this came from the ONF. It's now a substantial protocol. It's in production. There are products worldwide. And this has been another great success in enabling this SDN revolution. The third thing is ONOS, which is an open source SDN controller. It is the leading controller for operators in the market today. It's deployed worldwide. It's used as a component inside a number of vendors' products. It has quite a huge footprint, and it's had quite a substantial impact on the industry. And then the fourth, that I'd mentioned here is CORD, and that's the reason we're here today. CORD is the central office, re-architected as a data center, and CORD lives on top of these 3 other things. And so it uses ONOS, it uses OpenFlow, it uses SDN, and it would not be possible without those 3 prior massive innovations that have transformed the industry. So I would just mention, here, I have to as a caveat, that these are not the only things we do. We have another 8 projects and a lot of other things going on, but these are just 4 of the most notable milestones that have built on each other. But please take a look at us if you don't understand and know about the ONF. We're doing a lot of transformative work, and we can help operators, if you're not working with us, please. Vendors, if you want to understand what the operators are wanting, and you want to use our platforms as a basis for building things, these are the ways to work with us, the primary ways. And lastly, on this slide, I just want to talk about the notable impact that we're having, especially for those of you who have not heard of CORD. These are recent analyst quotes and reports that you can get your hands on. And notice here that, from heavy reading, Roz recently came out with a report that nearly 40% of all subscribers worldwide, that's mobile, that's residential, that's enterprise subscribers, are going to be running on CORD within 5 years. Just think about that number, how many millions of subscribers that is. This is a project that's got substantial traction, and we're going to talk more about the details of that traction. And the next one here is from Michael Howard, who I ran into this morning. I don't know if he's here now, but he said earlier this year that 70% of all operators are planning to deploy CORD. And so, this is third-party confirmation of just the level of impact that we're having. So, if you're not familiar with this, I encourage you, while you're here today, that's a good first step, but please, even after this, come talk with us, learn more.